So you came from town center, turn onto town loop.
Yeah, where's the church? Is this the church here?
There's that's a church.
Okay, so we weren't up to the church yet. So we were pulled on here, and then we pulled maybe about halfway up here, and I dropped her off somewhere in this area here.
And she walked from there to the school?
Yeah.
It's a pretty long way.
It's maybe a block or so, but it's not out of the ordinary for her. She likes to do that sometimes. She likes the cold weather. She's wearing her hoodie.
Uh-huh.
The cold walk.
So you dropped her off near Lilac? Does that sound right?
Yeah, it wasn't at a cross street. It was just a bit of the sidewalk there.
So did he merge into the sidewalk, or did he stop in the middle of the street, or?
I just pulled over to the sidewalk there. I could hop out.
How often do you drop her off?
This might be the 5th or 6th time I've ever done it.
Okay. And when you drop her off, where do you normally drop her off at?
Normally.
You know, one of the most important things, if not the most important things about this interview, is that the female detective, I believe her name was Marta, she cleverly got him to turn over his phone and asked him if he minded if she looked through it. And he very confidently said, "Oh, yes." And then he tells the story. I think I factory reset my phone. So he thought that all of the bad images that they would find, because it was backed up on his Google hard drive, that they would be gone. But guess what? They were not gone. And that is what got the ball rolling, gave the police more time to investigate the murder, because I believe this interview with him was either the 27th or the 28th. He got arrested on the 28th. So when they discovered all those images, basically Stephan Sterns, his book, his bird was cooked. He was finished at that point, right? And then they started collecting all the evidence. And some of the evidence that I said was most important, of course. And again, when we talk about things that have yet to be released, this is one of the most important pieces of evidence right there. And what I put up on the screen is a picture of Stephan Sterns' hand, which no doubt was injured by Madeline fighting for her life. So his DNA will be under Madeline's fingernails. And the pathologist will already know that, will already have gotten that evidence. And he says, "Oh, I caught my hand between the tire and the jack, between the bumper and the jack, and that's how it could have been much worse." You know, no, you got it because a 13-year-old girl was fighting for her life as you strangled her. That's where you got those injuries from. And let's not forget, they took other photos of his entire ugly body. And the evidence that the police have against him is just insurmountable. So going back to the very beginning, we asked this question, and I cannot confirm it, but based on the text message that was from December that was sent from Madeline to Stephan Sterns, it appears there is a possibility that she was pregnant. That new parent decision coin, we spoke about that. There it is up on the screen. Why would you send that to someone unless you were and he was the father? This is not conclusive, but many believe this is the motive. And this was also potentially the reason that I believe that Jennifer was also involved. Sheila McIntyre from the chat, in early stage pregnancy, perhaps 6 to 8 weeks, this wouldn't be visible yet. So further investigation by the coroner has to be performed. Sheila, there's no doubt the coroner knows. There's no doubt the police know. They cannot release that information probably till the trial because Madeline Soto, again, is a minor, was a minor. Ashley from the chat, he covered his hands in his pockets. Yeah, Ashley, much of his body language is the body language of a guilty person. Absolutely. Candace Breeze, I think the police would have gotten hold of Stern's phone with or without his consent. Candace, well, absolutely, but it was made easier that he gave them consent. And then once they discovered all these bad photos, they got a search warrant because there's something called the fruits of the poisonous tree. And if you get evidence and you do not obtain the evidence legally, the evidence can be not allowed by a judge. And it's called the fruits of the poisonous tree. Evidence collected illegally will be suppressed. So once they discovered there was some bad photos on this phone, I believe, as professional detectives would do, they stopped their investigation and said, let's get a search warrant. This way, anything they found after they were given permission would be allowed because they obtained it legally through a search warrant. So I think there's some excellent work done on this case. I think they've done a tremendous job, and we will see as this case goes forward. But none of the things. I shouldn't say none of the things, but some of the things cannot be verified until we have a law enforcement source or potentially a document that is from law enforcement that gives us this information.